Running your first ultramarathon can be a wildly overwhelming commitment. How on earth do you get yourself from just some schlub on the couch to crossing the finish line? And when I say crossing the finish line, I mean comfortably. I don't want you collapsing at the end like some battered opponent from Rocky 7, 8, 9, 10 or whatever. So today I'm going to share what I think are 4 keys or essentials to successfully running your first ultramarathon. Now for a little context, I did DNF my first attempt back in June, made some changes, and came back in late October finishing comfortably. And those 4 changes are as following: coaching, strength training, nutrition, and for a lack of a better description, skincare? Let's break them down, shall we? Coaching. Now I never thought I needed coaching, and I don't necessarily attribute my DNF in June to lack of coaching. But I wasn't following a very well thought out plan, so when I decided to give the Ultra another shot, I signed up with Ultra Trail Coaching. Their program dynamically creates your workout plan based on your previous running history and the number of hours you're able to run per week. So not only did it take away the stress of planning my own running plan, it gave me confidence that I was building myself up sustainably. To better understand how it all worked and how I was able to comfortably cross the finish line, I called up my coach, Guy van der Dorp. I ran my first ultra while training with UTC, so I was wondering if you could talk about the training that I did and how it actually got me in shape to not only finish the ultra, but to actually finish not feeling terrible about myself.
Ultra Trail Coaching is a coaching platform which I think is quite unique because it combines, on the one hand side, the knowledge, the training plans of elite athletes like Karel Saber, a multiple FKT runner, had a phenomenal year this year with finisher at the Barclays, and then most recently also a new FKT at the Pacific Crest Trail. And then also Xavier Thévenard, often for the French-speaking athletes, multiple UTMB winner. So 2 fantastic athletes that, make available to other runners how they train, what skills to apply, what injury prehab to perform. So we have all of that. But then on the other hand side as well, I'm also a certified data scientist. So we apply AI and data science techniques to be able to make really personal coaching plans. Mm-hmm. So you came to us, you said, hey, Guy, I want to run a marathon in Berlin, and then I would want to do a 50K ultra. And we kind of had 18 weeks to prepare you for that. So we say, okay, let's take the training history of this athlete. What has he done? We knew from the intake, from data that you shared with us, that you were able to run 5 hours per week, that you had some 35K before starting with UTC. So we adopt that training philosophy of Karel and Xavier, but apply it to you being the unique athlete with your profile, history, and race ambition. Then in addition to that, what we're capable of doing is adjusting dynamically. So we look at, 1, did you do the training or not? Was the training compliant? How did you do it? What was your own feeling? So we ask you, we apply RPE, rate of perceived exertion. If we consider that a certain training should have an RPE of 6, but you tell us every time you do that training that it feels like an 8, then we will adjust the training schedule based on that. Also, we look at your recovery. There's many factors we look at, whether that is stress, whether that is fatigue from training, whether that is your heart rate data, if you share them with us. So we adjust this dynamically, and that I think makes us pretty unique.
Strength training. There's no non-douchey way to say this, but strength training is nothing new to me. It's always something I've enjoyed, to challenge myself and get rid of some stress. That said, I've always loathed lower body training. Before my DNF, the only strength training I do were some wall-assisted pistol squats after runs a couple of times a week. And I truly only did it so that I could tell myself that I wasn't skipping lower body strength training. Technically true, but it's also potentially true that I developed muscle imbalances that led to my runner's knee and the DNF in Innsbruck. Before running my second ultra, I did some strength rehab and transitioned that into a holistic strength training plan for my lower body. Granted, my ultra wasn't the steepest one out there, but I did feel stronger on the climbs than ever before. And believe it or not, I actually enjoy lower body strength training now. Who knew? Nutrition. I hated thinking about nutrition. Usually I just take some Cliff Bars with me on a long run and just eat when I felt hungry. Oh, slightly younger Joe, you poor dumb fool. I learned the hard way about the importance of fueling properly during training and a race when I could barely walk after the 2021 Berlin Marathon without feeling like I'd pass out. So when I committed myself to another ultra attempt, I told myself I'd incorporate fueling into my training. Because you really do have to practice your fueling before a race, just as you wouldn't wear a brand new pair of running shoes on race day. It took me a while to find an energy gel that I actually enjoyed eating. Now that I found it, I actually look forward to fueling. So this is what I've been using. It's called Never Second with an easy open rip to suck down those ever essential 30 grams of carbohydrates. I've become such a fan of these things that I've actually become an ambassador for Never Second. So you may now refer to me as the High Honorable Ambassador of Never Second, or something like that. Whatever feels natural to you. So if you're interested in giving them a shot, you can use my code RunningJoeB15 for 15% off your order. Go check them out and let me know in the comments how it hits your stomach. And now the moment you've all been clearly waiting for me to talk about, skincare. I'm going to try and walk a fine line here between clarity and TMI. But let's just say my running shorts caused some not so pleasant chafing in, well, the bridge between lands, if you will. I know that sounds like some kind of Tolkien-esque fantasy realm, but trust me, it is a very real place, and it can be painful. Body glides or Vaseline did the trick, but only up to a couple of hours of running. The last thing I wanted to worry about in my ultra was chafing. So about a week before the race, I hastily Googled best underwear for Ultramarathon, and I found a Reddit thread of honest-to-God runners singing the praises of Runderwear. Runderwear. I didn't have any issues during the race and felt completely fine afterwards, and I 100% attribute that to my Runderwear. There's not a chance in hell that I will go on a long run without a pair of these again. So if you're also having some issues along the bridge between lands, your inner thighs, wherever, then check them out. Because chafing can force you to change up your running motion to avoid the pain, and that itself can lead to injury, and that will certainly crush your ultramarathon dreams in a heartbeat. And those, friends, are my 4 keys to running your first ultramarathon. If you need proof that they actually work, then click here to watch me finish my very first ultramarathon and see how my coaching, strength training, nutrition, and yes, skincare all came together.